One of the fastest way to destroy a nation is through injustice. Any nation who does not regard justice is a failed nation. That nation is doomed for life. And there is really nothing you can do to salvage that nation, except if the people themselves start taking actions to protect themselves. In Nigeria today, most people are clamoring to leave the nation, not because they want to leave, because they want to escape. Why do they want to escape? Because they don't stand a chance. They don't see that they stand any chance in that country called Nigeria. Imagine what is going on between VDM and VDM's mom. I know she's not the only one. Someone came to your bank and told you that she's not the one who collected the loan. Someone else did, and she doesn't know who. And you refuse to investigate. And the son comes to find out what is going on. The next thing is for you to arrest him. That is how you know countries that have been destroyed, countries that will never move forward. But every average Nigerian that you ask today wants to run away from Nigeria because of the injustice. And because everybody, all of us cannot run away from the country, because we cannot, most people cannot afford it. Average Nigerian cannot afford to leave the country because it requires money, it requires resources, and that resources is something they do not have. But what can we do to save ourselves and save our country? Every meaningful Nigeria have to embrace the culture of social counseling, social boycotting, social counseling. Everybody, every meaningful Nigeria have to embrace that culture of counseling people, just boycotting people if they are not supporting the cause of what would benefit everybody in the country. Let me break it down. You see what is going on now, that people are calling for others to withdraw their account, withdraw their money, and cancel the account with GTBank. That is what everybody should do. One, until we come to that point where we see injustice to one as injustice to all, our country, Nigeria, will never move forward, because the system that are supposed to do that have failed us. They will never ever do that for us. The country that is supposed to uphold justice in Nigeria have failed us. Imagine a country where somebody complained that their money has been stolen from bank. Instead of the organizations in charge of that to launch investigation action, right? Start investigating these banks and start investigating to find out if what the citizens are complaining is right or wrong, to find out what is going on and sanction whoever. If they are found guilty, sanction them. Instead, you are finding a way to shut them up. That is what happens when we don't value justice. When we don't value justice. So because the society, the system that is supposed to uphold justice have failed Nigerians, we have to, on our own self, take the action to serve ourselves the justice that we deserve. How are we going to do that? One, canceling culture. If anybody comes out and say any bank did anything to them, cancel them. Everybody needs to treat them as plague, as people who have plague. You avoid them by all means. If you're following them on social media, unfollow them. If you have account with them, withdraw your account. The same thing, anybody goes to hospital and they treat you wrongly in the hospital, whether the staff, the doctors, whoever that treats you unjustly, and you know that this is wrong, and we all know that this is wrong, come out on social media and say it. And all of us would have to unfollow, cancel that. That is what we have to be doing in order to get the justice that we all need. The beauty of law is when everybody obeys it, even when no one is watching. But in Nigeria today, even the elite and the wealthy are not even willing to try a little bit to obey the law, even when everybody is watching. And so we need to make sure we hold them accountable. The law is there because human beings have higher tendencies of doing wrong things. So the law is there to guide everybody, to make sure everybody is respecting everybody so that we all get respected. But the system that is supposed to enforce this has failed us. So the way to hold them accountable is by making sure that we, the masses, hold them accountable and that they pay duly for any crime they commit. How do we do that? Attack them where it hurts more. If people do wrong, like this GTBank, ensure, because the reason why people do wrong thing and get away with it in Nigeria is because the next person is doing the same thing and there are no consequences. And so we protect each other because you know I'm doing the wrong thing and I know you are doing the wrong thing. So you protect me, I protect you. That is why staff in that same bank in GT, they might know what is going on, but they will keep quiet. Why? Because there is no consequences. But when we start attacking them, and I'm using GTBank as example because this of a recent event. But if we know that, okay, somebody in an institution is doing something wrong and there will be consequences about it, and that consequences will affect me because I work in that organization, I will be more prone to speak out, to condemn it, to ensure that this person is held accountable so that it doesn't affect me. But whereby nothing happens to the person who is perpetrating evil and nothing happens to me who is watching it happen, then it will continue to happen. So what we need to do as a society is to hold people accountable. Like now, what we need to do is to make sure that everybody withdraws their money and cancel their account with GTBank. That way, all the people who are working in that bank who have refused to speak up since they will lose their jobs. So that next time they will know that when something is happening, even if it's not happening to you directly, it would impact you indirectly. So you need to pay attention. You need to hold other people accountable. And don't do no sentiment in this kind of thing. When you are doing it and you say, oh, my brother worked there, my husband worked there, my mom works in that bank, so I will not withdraw my account. It will come back to bite you in the butt. There should be no sentiment. If we really, truly want to change Nigeria, there should be no sentiment in who the decisions affect and who it doesn't affect. After all, your mother has been working there and she refused to speak up. Your husband has been working there and he refused to speak up. Your uncle, your brother, your sister, whoever that is related to you has been working there and refused to speak up. So yes, it will affect you because if they are a breadwinner, for instance, it will affect you. Yes, you have to. This is the price everybody needs to pay. It will affect you directly or indirectly. This is the price everybody has to pay so that we can start holding individuals accountable. When that bank closes, right, we ensure that the managers, the people who are supposed to investigate this, the top ones, will never get any job anywhere. Any bank that employs them, you cancel them. Yes, that is how to hold people accountable. Because when they see that the consequences are grave, like it's so high, right? When the consequences are so high, people are less likely to engage, to even think about it. That is how you deter people psychologically from thinking about evil. Human beings have the tendency of doing evil more than they have the tendency of doing good. But what holds people and restrain them and put them in the right path is when they see that the consequences that will come after their actions is more than the benefit. They will be deterred from doing that evil. So that is how you hold people accountable. Boycott them. If you go to hospital and there is injustice, boycott them. You go to the police, for example, and a policeman is asking you for bail money when you know that in Nigerian constitution, you don't need to pay money to be bailed out, and they're asking you to pay them money, or you are asking them, you go there to complain and they're asking you to pay money before you lay your complaint. Take a picture of them, video them, post this on social media, and then all of us will find out a way to make sure that person get hurt where it hurts, gets attacked where it hurts the person the more. That way, everybody will focus in building Nigeria. We cannot all run away. If all of us that are a little well-doing run away, what about those who do not have any way of running away? What about those ones? This is where our empathy comes in. We know that all fingers, there is no country, there is no nation that there will be no poor people. But we need to look out for those who cannot look out for themselves. We need to look out for those who cannot look out for themselves. We need to be the mouthpiece of those who cannot speak up for themselves. And the way we can do it is working in harmony, working together to make sure that people are held accountable, irrespective of the institutions. And then calling out those institutions who are in terms of this kind of bank problem now, those institutions who are supposed to be investigating this kind of thing that have kept quiet, calling them out. Who are their bosses? Where do their children live? What are their children's names? Where do they live? Where do they go to school? Threaten them. Do one or two to them to the place that it would hurt them the more. That way, they will be focused. When they go to work, what they will think is, how do I serve my people? How do I do the right thing? We need to get to that point. The same thing, if we are doing something like celebrities that we have been supporting because they make their money from Nigerians, the celebrities that we are supporting are not coming to support us in terms of using their platform, voicing it out. What do? We cancel them. Unfollow them on all social media. Do not stream their music. Do not listen to their music. If you have their music on your whatever, the play app or the play stores, unfollow them. Or don't add their music to your playlist anymore. When you hurt people where it hurts them the more, they will be willing to act right. And that is how we're going to get it right. The government have failed us, and we cannot fold our arms and let the country collapse like that. This is what we have to do. It will hurt. I realize that Nigerians only speak the truth. They only speak the truth when the dishonesty doesn't favor them. Average Nigerians speak the truth only when injustice doesn't favor them. So this is where we need to stop. This is what we need to stop. We need to speak the truth, even when the truth will hurt us personally. If your father is doing something wrong and you know that your father is doing something wrong, speak up, even though you know that when your father is cancelled, it will affect you directly. Still speak up. That is how a nation is built. Since the organizations who are supposed to do that have failed us, we don't need to fail ourselves. We don't need to fail ourselves. This is my 2 cents. If you're new here, my name is Oluchi, a mental health therapist and a health coach. And until next time, I'll see you later. Thank you for watching, and ensure that you play your own role in building Nigeria. Let's rebuild our nation. Thank you.